That's not something you should joke about. An Indonesian flight from Pontianak to Jakarta on Monday was delayed after a flight attendant reported a bomb threat from a passenger. A flight attendant on flight JT687 reportedly found a bag on the floor of the plane and asked who the owner is. With a smile, passenger Frantius Nerigi said that it was his and that there was a bomb in it. He was apparently joking, but was that a good time to make that kind of joke? The flight attendant immediately reported the incident, and the man was immediately being questioned about what was inside the bag. Most people panicked after hearing the word bomb, with one desperate passenger then opening one of the emergency exits. Flight attendants were busy instructing the passengers to exit the plane properly, but weren't able to control the crowd from trying to rush through the doors. Here's a translation of what the flight attendants said about the incident. I asked everyone to exit the plane quickly and calmly. Some were desperate to get out, some just stood there where they were. Everything was chaos and I was unable to prevent people from exiting through the emergency exit. Thanks to this fail of a joke, 10 people were injured, with 8 of them being taken to hospital. Only 2 who sustained minor injuries were able to continue with their flight. Indonesian media reports the jokester has been charged with breaching civil aviation security law, and he could face up to 8 years behind bars. However, rumor has it that the jokester did not say the word bomb, but rather laptop, and the flight attendant just misheard him. Regardless of what he actually said, the case is still under investigation. Tomo Sapiens, your call.
Spray can and fireplace equals good times.
Viral photo of shaved husky sends Twitter into a frenzy. Over thousands of years, huskies have been bred to become strong animals, able to withstand harsh, extreme cold temperatures. So naturally, when you see one without its coat, something looks and feels very wrong. This photo posted by a Twitter user has many up in arms. The husky's thick double coat is what keeps them insulated from the cold. The overcoat is long and water resistant, while the undercoat is short and warm. Without their fur, huskies are not only unprotected from cool air, but also exposed to the sun's UV rays, allowing for easy sunburn. With no explanation offered as to why the husky was shaved, animal lovers online are worried it was stripped of its fur for some kind of sick joke. Twitter user Lily Stark points out that such a bold haircut affects the coat's function and never grows back right. However, user Lorelei Mission counters that animals are often shaved due to medical reasons or for surgery to be conducted. One user mentioned he'd heard the dog had been involved in some sort of glue accident, and in that case the trim might be justified, but we've not been able to verify that claim. User Ted here doesn't seem to care what the reasons are behind this cut, but hopes the pup's down to party. The user who posted the photo claimed he found it somewhere online, so for all we know, there's someone wearing that poor husky's coat around just to be fashionable. And unfortunately, seems he's not the only one walking around feeling coatless and looking ridiculous. Poor little guys. In any case, I think we can all agree, unless it's absolutely necessary, let your huskies keep their nice, thick, fluffy coat. They need them.
Scottish YouTuber fined for Nazi pug video. Scottish YouTuber Mark Meechan, aka Count Dankula, has been fined £800, around $1,100 for making a video he says was a joke. This all goes back to April 2016 when Meechan decided to prank his girlfriend Sue. The Scots comic trained his girlfriend's pug Buddha to Nazi salute to Sieg Heil and to react to the phrase, "Do you want to gas the Jews?" Dankula published footage of the canine to YouTube where it went viral. Some found it funny, some didn't. Reportedly, he says the phrase "gas the Jews" 23 times, and that's the part people found offensive, and the law took issue with. According to the BBC, Meechin said the joke was the juxtaposition of having an adorable animal reacting to something vulgar. Evidently, Scottish authorities didn't find it funny, so much so they charged Dankula with a hate crime. After a 2-year court case, on Monday the judge found Dankula guilty of making a grossly offensive video that contained menacing anti-Semitic and racist material. Concerningly, the prosecution pointed out that the context of the video wasn't to be decided by Meechin, but by the court. Context is central to comedy. Dankula's joke was found to be grossly offensive under the UK Communications Act 2003, Section 127. Specifically, the law says someone is guilty of an offense that sends by means of a public electronic communications network a message or other matter that is grossly offensive or of an indecent, obscene, or menacing character, or causes any such message or matter to be so sent. What's deemed grossly offensive is left widely open to interpretation, and that's dangerous. Meechin received support from all fields, including from comedian Ricky Gervais, satirist Jonathan Pie, YouTuber Philip DeFranco, as well as writer and activist Maajid Nawaz, Infowars' Alex Jones, and also ex-English Defence League leader Tommy Robinson. The Dankula case sparked debate around free speech in the UK, but maybe the talk show host Maajid Nawaz puts it best. Speaking on Meechin's guilty verdict from last month on his UK radio show on LBC, Nawaz said the video was unfunny, but defended Meechin's right to free speech. To clamp down on free speech means thought control, because without free speech you cannot have freedom of thought, he said. He went on to say the best way to deal with offensive comedians is to not laugh at their jokes. Nawaz also pointed out that the Nazis would have acted in a similar fashion by sentencing Meechin for his joke. And they may have almost done so to another guy during World War II. In 1941, a Finn was investigated by the Nazis for insulting Hitler because his Dalmatian raised a paw whenever the dictator was mentioned. According to the BBC, his wife was anti-Nazi German. The Nazis dropped the case due to a lack of evidence.
Man trapped in ATM gets withdrawn by cops. A Texas contractor found himself held captive by a cash machine and had to go old school to get out. The worker was changing the locks for the ATM vestibule when he was locked in because he left his swipe card in the truck. Poor fella also left his phone, so he couldn't call for help. But the ATM was working just fine, and what he did have was a pen and paper. He resorted to slipping notes through the receipt slot, begging people to please help. I'm stuck in here and I don't have my phone. Please call my boss. Unfortunately for him, everyone who got the note thought it was a bizarre joke, and the poor man was stuck for 2 hours until someone took it seriously enough to call the cops. Even the cops didn't think it was for real, even after they heard a little voice coming from the machine. Still, they eventually came to the man's rescue, kicking down the door to finally get him out. Now there's a man who's never been so happy to get away from a cash machine. Crazy!
Someone's getting way ahead of themselves. The president of South Korea is rooting for Trump to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for helping bridge the North-South divide. And no, he's not joking. With the two Koreas now talking peace and denuclearization, President Moon Jae-in says it's mostly thanks to Old Donald. The same peace-loving fella who threatened North Korea with nuclear annihilation just a year ago. Sure, the Trump administration has been hurling sanctions and insult tweets left and right, and breathing down both the North's and China's necks. But it's hard to say just how much of that is actually responsible for Kim Jong-un's renewed interest in peace, if he's even truly interested. Seeing Trump and Nobel Peace Prize in the same sentence is mind-boggling enough, but it isn't even the worst part. Former South Korean President Kim Dae-jung won the prize in 2000 for setting up a summit with the North. His widow wished the same to Moon, who then went on to endorse Trump. So the possibility of Trump being awarded a peace prize? Very real? He's definitely all for it. The rest of us, not so much.